Hi there, crafty friends. It's Diane, the Creative Inkster. Today is Monday, May the 1st. Oh my goodness. Shout out to a couple of friends who have birthdays today, Dawn and Diana, and I'm sure other people on my list. Just wishing you a wonderful birthday as we start off another new month. And we're in the stamping world excited to be launching a new catalog tomorrow with the new products that some of us have been playing with for a little while now because we were able to get it on pre-order. This is one of them, beautiful balloons, and it has these beautiful stamps and then also some dies that go with. And as you know, I keep mine in here and all the other extra little bits and pieces that I die cut or punch out from the sets that I don't use on a particular card. Sometimes I have some duplicates, so I kind of leave them in here, but there's some interesting shapes in this one. This is particularly neat. This piece measures 6 by 1 inch, but it actually ends up giving a fringe that's about 3/4 of an inch over. And I've done that on some cards that I'm going to be featuring as we go along. And just really kind of a cool idea. So I will show some tips for using this one the next time that I actually use it in a live. So if you're out there watching this live, please let me know. Likewise, leave a comment if you're here on the replay. It's always nice to know who's out there joining me for the evening. And we'll get started on this card layout. So my first card that I did ahead of time is this one here. It's featuring the beautiful balloons. So this 3 balloon series. So this one here is on white, stamped in lemon lime twist. This one is just die cut out and in lemon lolly, and then I ran it through the embossing folder. So if you want to do that, you want to die cut first and then emboss. That way it doesn't get all squished on you. And then the smaller one was a piece of patterned paper. So you're seeing different ways to use the balloons, either embossed on cardstock, stamped, or cut out from patterned paper that you have. And then the real magic on this card is this kind of 4-piece backdrop layout. And I just hand cut the happy birthday and threw some rhinestones on, and there we have it. I think this is a really pretty card. The card base is new. It looks almost white in the camera that I'm looking here. Hi, Wendy. But I assure you it's a pink tone, and it is called Bubble Bath. I keep wanting to call it Bubble Gum, but it's Bubble Bath. Okay, so some beautiful new colors, returning colors. If you've been around a while, you've heard of Lemon Lime Twist before. Hi, Brenda. Thanks for joining in. So, yeah, this is tonight's card done up ahead of time. So we'll leave it here as a reference. But I'm going to play with some other products too to show you here. So let's do the first one. Here are my supplies that I suggested that you want to have. And that is the following. So there's your card base. It's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2 and folded in the middle. So there's your half a card. And then a piece of white for the inside, or vanilla if you're going with those tones. This is just a wee bit smaller at 4 by 5 1/4. So we'll pop that on the inside. We'll get that going. This card, I was away on the weekend, so I designed this card at my weekend away, which was lots of fun to hang out in Stratford in the Quality Inn with a whole bunch of friends for 3 full days of crafting. Most people scrapbook, memory keep, others at my table sort of group there do cards, and one lady I know does painting, and a lot of people do digital. So it's quite interesting. A real variety of people and different kinds of crafting going on. All right, so there's our card base done. Then we're going to have a piece that's 4 by 5 1/4. Same size as your white that went on the inside. This is going to be on the outside. This is one of the layers. So it's going to go on the outside. Since we're not wrapping any ribbon around, we can go ahead and glue it down. But if you were adding ribbon around edges, I always suggest you wait till you get all your edges together, wrap your ribbon, and then put it down on your card front or inside or wherever it is it's going to land. All right, here we go. So it's starting to take some shape. Okay, then we have, this is some scrap for doing some stamping and punching. Then we have a 3 3/4 by 5 inch. So we're getting progressively smaller. There's our card base. That was your usual 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Then we have a 4 by 5 1/4 layer, and then we have the white layer. We're not really going to see a lot of the white layer. It'll give a little bit of an edge to your pattern pieces, as I did with the pink under here, which is just kind of hard to see. And these pretty patterns are from, yeah, these are just 2 scraps for me to do some die cutting or punching with. These are from a new pattern paper package, which name escapes me. And seeing as I was away for the weekend, my catalog's not right here with me. It is a blue Countryside Inn, that's what it's called, Countryside Inn. So we have 4 pieces, and so the 4 pieces are 2 by 2 3/4, and they're going to layer on the white like this, leaving a small border, and then 1 piece on the bottom that is also 2 inches wide by 2 inches tall. So you can make these whatever you like. I just made them basically so that there's a small border all around and a piece missing out of the middle. And then these pieces over here, oh, this is the same pattern, so we're going to flip this guy. This is 1 1/2 inch square. It's going to go up in the top. And then this piece down here is 1 1/2 by 3 1/4. And it's going to go below here. And I feel like it's just a little bit too tall. Wait a second. Maybe I made it a little bit too tall. 1 1/2 by, should be 3 1/4, and the other's 1 1/2 by 1 1/2. So something doesn't look right. 1 1/2 by 1 1/2. Interesting. Must have measured that incorrectly. No, that fits. And that guy fits. Now, I will admit, I was doing this late at night when I was adding up the measurements. It's so weird. What am I not seeing? 3 1/4, well, maybe it's just a little bit tall. So we'll trim it down just a bit, just a hair. Just pull it down just a little bit, so that it fits in here like this. Oh, there it is. I don't know. My eyes were playing little tricks on me. Okay. So there's our 4 pieces ready to go. And you'll see they have a little bit of a border all the way around. Okay, let's glue this guy in place on the top left. Now, you can definitely change the tops and bottoms depending on your pattern paper and which way you want them to go. You may find that you like them a little more of one pattern over another pattern. Totally up to you. If you stick with the same pattern paper pack, then you're going to have lots of coordinating colors. Like the Balloon Celebrations paper has a lot of patterns in it. A lot of colors. This is the paper pack I use for the balloon card. Bright and Beautiful it's called. And there are, oh, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 different colors in that pattern paper. So finding something to coordinate was pretty easy. And then when you're using something with only a few colors in it, then it becomes a little trickier because you do want to see some variety in the color. But you can always add in a layer, one of these rectangles or squares could very easily be an embossed layer, and you can just take that away. All right, so we get this guy in, and then our last piece. There we go. And a lot of the center stuff is going to be hidden, so if you're not getting a really even centering in the middle, don't worry, because you're going to put a circle or a square or some kind of focal point here, and you can hide anything that's a bit of an imperfection there. All right, so then this piece can go down on here. I didn't pop a lot of it up, just my focal point. So decide what works for you. Sometimes I just like to pop it all up, and sometimes I'm just keeping it to the focal point. All righty, here we go. So this original white, again, was 3 3/4 by 5. So we have a progressively going in different sizes. So there we go with our pattern paper. So I picked the pattern paper first, then I picked the layer pieces and the card base based on the colors that were in there. So now for my focal point, I was wanting to use Petal Park. So there is a stamp set that goes with this pretty countryside in paper, but it is to go with rectangular shaped dies, and it's not florals or green or anything, but I thought Petal Park was a nice fit with this, with lots of flowers. So I'm going to take this stamp here, which there's 2 of because this is 2-step stamping, and it has the punch that will coordinate with. So you see the punch, the stamp fits exactly where the punch is. It doesn't because here, to show it exactly, oh yeah, I've got it upside down. There we go. So it fits in there, and then it's 2 steps, so this piece will fit through there. So just to show you that that's how that works. And I grabbed, I wasn't sure what I was going to do for coloring. So I'm going to grab my Memento ink. I'm going to stamp these images, and then I'm going to color them in. So I want to just have a little go first to make sure that I have the right colors in the right spots. So that is how you stamp this. There's one of them, and then let's get another block. Put this one over. And there would be, this is just to test run it, this stamp directly over top. And because it's photopolymer, you can very easily see where it goes. And so I've got black and dark blue together, but one does the inside and one does the outline, and one does the insides. So I think we will actually color them in. So let's go back in with this one and just get an idea. Yeah, I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to color it in with my Stampin' Blends. All right, so there's a 2-step stamping option with this set, or just using the outline and coloring it in. So let's tuck that aside for a moment. I'm back from the weekend, and I don't even know where my cleaner is. I don't think it's anywhere close at hand here. Nothing is unpacked yet. That's okay. Won't need it for the next card. All right, so I'm going to stamp this down like so in Tuxedo Black, because this is a water-based ink, and I'm going to color in with my Stampin' Blends. I'm going to add a little color beyond the blues. And these are alcohol-based markers. So with alcohol-based, you want to use a stamp that is water-based. So let's see. I think a pink might be the ticket. Pink or yellow? Yellow. Yeah, yellow. All right, so I'm going to grab my 2 Daffodil Delights for shading. So we'll go in and we'll color one. And when you're doing a shading, you want to be working with wet ink, not fully dried yet ink. So you don't want to color an entire stamp. Like here we're using just the one of the 3 flowers, but you want to kind of move while adding your other color while the original color is still a little damp. And that just helps with the shading process, rather than coloring them all in and then going back and trying to add the shading. So I'm going to add this in the middle. I mean, Stampin' Up! Stamps give you all the shading marks. It's pretty self-explanatory. All right, so we'll go back and do the next one, and you'll notice that I do tend to cap them when I'm done. They are alcohol-based so that they can dry out. They're not refillable, and so you want to take good care of your investment by capping them in between. And if you find that you get it too dark, or you don't like it, there's a color lifter, one marker that you can use. It's white like this. I think of it as sort of bleaching. It pulls some of the color out. Or you can go back over a dark with the light, and that kind of gives you that same look. It also gives a little more depth of color by doing that. When they dry up and lighten up a wee bit. Oh, oops. Let's finish the last one, and then we're going to punch these out. We're going to stick them on a circle and put that in the middle as a focal point on this card. I think yellow and blue are just beautiful colors together for spring colors. It's just fresh. Something about it that reminds me of freshness. All right, so there's our coloring done. And we'll grab the punch, and we're going to punch this out. So it was one stamp, and it goes into the punch like this. I have also punched out just the petals with no stamping at all, and used them layered. So I punched out maybe a pink, so a pink, a blue, and a pink together, and layered them together without even worrying about stamping, but it does look lovely together. All right, so then we're also going to use a new product here. This is the 2 3/8 inch circle punch. We hadn't had this size before. It's quite nice. I love punches because they're very versatile and handy. And then you can just add it as a layer. A vellum layer would look really cool on this too. Also, I could have embossed this layer as well. But I'm going to do these really quickly, and I'm going to show you something else that I like to do with flowers. I'm looking for my mat, my Stampin' Pierce mat, but I don't have that. So I've got this stack of Post-it notes, so this will work the same way. We're looking for something that's a bit of a cushion, and this foam mat might work a little bit. But with the end of this Take Your Pick tool, the end where the putty is, where the cover is, I'm just going to press down in the center. Oh, it didn't work so well on there. So maybe it'll work a little better on here. A catalog would do. Let's pull the old catalog out. Well, the retiring catalog. And this will give it a little bit of pushback too. So it pops them up a little bit. This one's really quite thick. No, it didn't work the way I intended. I don't know where my mat is. Once again, unpacked, not fully unpacked from the weekend of crafting. But the idea is that you would press down in the center, and because it's on a foam mat, the sides would curl up. You can also take your bone folder or a pencil or a pen and give a little life to these petals by just curling them a little bit from the center. It makes it really just a nice extra little touch. A little bit more life. Of course, if you're mailing the card, you probably won't notice that, but it does look good on the finished card. Okay, so there we go. We're going to put some dimensionals on this. One side, just one side. Here we go. And put that just a bit above. Not really in the center, but a little bit above. And then I'm going to arrange these 3 flowers on here. Could do more. And I'm going to stamp a small greeting in there and sort of hand cut it out. So I'm going to use a little liquid glue. Another way to do this would be glue dot. I'm just going to put a little dab of liquid glue on this. And while I'm doing my stamping, these will get a chance to dry. So we'll put the large one here, the medium one here, and the tiny one, whoops, come on, just there. Okay, we'll let that dry. And in the beautiful balloon stamp set, we have Happy Birthday. This is nice. Let's get our celebration on. I've done that on the new 2 3/8 inch circle. Let's do Happy Birthday. And I've got some leftover white. A block. We're in business here. And we'll use the Night of Navy. Keep it consistent for color. And we'll hand cut this out. Nice and juicy. Alrighty. Should be mostly dry. And then I'm just going to hand cut it out, which I could use a punch or a die. And what I find when I hand cut it out is I can get a small white layer around it without too much white space showing. And that just kind of, I think, gives it a little bit of flow. It flows more nicely rather than having too much white edging around it. And don't worry if you're not perfect. You know, sometimes I do these and I get little points around edges I plan to sort of do as rounded edges. That's okay. I can give them a little haircut, fix them up. And then this can go on here and we'll pop this up and that'll give it a little bit of lift as well. And then it just needs a few sparkles. Happy birthday. I'm using the rhinestones with this set of colors with this pretty celebration paper. So let's carry on with that. The open pack. Ooh, 725 already. Holy moly. Well, the next card is much quicker. And we'll put these on the centers of the flowers. Just like that. Isn't that pretty? And then I think we'll add a couple more just to round it out. So that's 5, because I find that I like odd numbers. So I've got 2 up here and then 3 around here. And that's just a beautiful card. I think it just makes a gorgeous birthday card. Let's tuck this away. And get on to our last card. There's our 2. And then this one I'm doing in yet a different way, but the same card pieces. Instead, I have cut out of the Zany Zoo, I think is the name of the suite. So I have my card base, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2 and folded. I have a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of layer. Now you'll notice I've already punched my circle out of that. That was because that whole piece is going to be hidden and no one is going to see it. So why waste another piece of paper? So we'll glue this guy down. This is Crumb Cake, and the yellow is a new color, my new favorite color, called Lemon Lolly. I really love this. I love it with neutrals. I love it with bold colors like Lemon Lime Twist, and with blues. It is just a beautiful shade. And then we've got this Lemon Lime Twist, which is 3 3/4 by 5. And you see it's covered up that hole perfectly. So don't have to waste anything. I probably could have punched something out of this too, but you know, you got to stop somewhere. All right, so there we go. And then here are my pieces. The paper has all one sides of the 12 sheets are critters, pages and pages of critters, and they're already colored in. I didn't have to do any coloring here. Now you could color though. You could then go back and color this raccoon or beaver. I guess it's a beaver. I don't know. You can add more to the fox. You could color in his scarf. Not sure what you could do with the little frog here, but the bicycle, you could color that in here. But it's already colored, but then the other side is, that's the same pattern. So these are 3 of the patterns. So the other side are black and white patterns, which if you like that for general crafting, makes a great option. So let's flip these. I think I had a way that these went so that even though I had a focal point in the middle, a lot of the critters still showed, because that was kind of what I was going for. So the last one was pattern paper as well, but these ones that are already with images of little critters on them, which I thought was kind of cool. And like I said, you could color them in a little bit more. If you like, you could switch one or two of them to their black and white pattern side, and that would add something to it. I love this alligator on or crocodile. I don't know the difference, on a bicycle. Very cute. Wouldn't want to meet one in the wild, but you know, they're very cute. And then here's our flautist, the little frog. And then the beaver / raccoon, we're not sure, with the balloons. All right. And then one of the critters is this guy. I mean, how cute is that? So I hand cut him out. So some of these in that set, and I don't have that set, I don't own it myself, I borrowed it from someone else, have dies that cut some of the critters out of the paper. This was a hand cut, but it really didn't take very long. So then there's our circle, and we're going to put this guy on top. And in this case, I'm actually not going to put a greeting. I'm going to save it for something else, because it may be, this may very well be an Alistair monthly birthday, or monthly anniversary card. So cute. This guy's skating by. He's so cute. So he is a bit taller than the circle. So I want to keep that in mind if I'm adding liquid glue, which I'm going to do instead of dimensional. So I just want to be mindful of where that glue lands. It'll dry if it's not, if it's sticking out over a layer that's already on dimensionals, but just want to be mindful. And I'm going to just put them a little to the right so that I can slide a greeting in right here when I'm ready to use this card. So a very versatile, fun, oh hi Lynn, I'm just looking up now, very versatile little layout for your card making, and I hope you'll give it a try. Thanks for watching, and I will see you back here next time. Have a great day. Bye now.